My pensive Sarah, thy soft cheek reclined thus on my arm, most soothing sweet it is to sit beside our cot, our groan, with white flower jasmine and the broad-leafed myrtle, meet emblems they of innocence and love, and watch the clouds that late were rich with light, slowly saddening round, and mark the star of eve, serenely brilliant, such would wisdom be, shine opposite. How exquisite the sense snatched from yon bean field, and the world so hushed, the stilly murmur of the distant sea tells us of silence.
And that simplest lute playeth lengthways in the clasping casement. Hark! How by the desultory breeze caressed, like some coy maid half yielding to her lover, it pours such sweet upbraiding, and as must needs tempt to repeat wrong. And now its strings boldly are swept, the long sequacious notes over delicious surge sink and rise, such a soft floating witchery sound as twilight elfins make when they at eve voyage on gentle gales from the fairyland, where melodies round honey-dripping flowers, footless and wild like birds of paradise, nor pause, nor perch, hovering on untamed wing. Oh! The one life within us and abroad, which meets all motion and becomes its soul, a light and sound, a sound like power and light, rhythm in all thought, and joyance everywhere. Methinks it should be impossible not to love all the things in the world so filled where the breeze warbles and the mute still air is music slumbering on her instrument.
And thus, my love, as on midway slope of yonder hill, I stretch my limbs at noon, whilst through my half-closed eyelids I behold the sunbeams dance, like diamonds on the main, in tranquil muse upon tranquility. Full many a thought uncalled and undetained, and many idle flitting fantasies traverse my indolent and passive brain, as wild and various as the random gales that swell and flutter on the subject lute. And what if all of animated nature be but organic harps diversely framed, that tremble into thought as o'er them sweeps plastic and vast one intellectual breeze, at once the soul of earth and God of all?
But thy more serious eye a mild reproof dart, O beloved woman! Nor such thoughts dim and unhallowed dost thou not reject, and biddest me walk humbly with my God, meek daughter in the family of Christ. Well hast thou said and hollowly dispraised these shapings of the ungenerate mind, bubbles that glitter as they rise and break on veins philosophy's babbling spring. For never guiltless may I speak of him, the incomprehensible, save when with awe I praise him with the faith that in me feels, who with thy saving mercies healed me, and a sinful and most miserable man, wildered and dark, and gave to me possess peace, and this cot, and thee, heart-honored maid.
Now we will be doing the soapstone analysis for the poem The Eolian Harp by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. We're going to look at the speaker, who we can tell from the first line is in love with Sarah. Throughout the whole poem, you can tell that he is in love with and excited about life by all the exclamation marks and by the way he talks about nature's beauty. He has a very youthful outlook, but in the end it must be tamed by God's discipline. For the occasion, this poem was written in the Romantic era. The speaker must refrain from his excitement and dull his mind in this situation. The intended audience of this poem is Sarah, his love, which we see in the first line when he addresses her. The subject of the poem is love and God. Obviously, it talks about love because he is talking about how much he loves Sarah and he loves nature and the beautiful atmosphere around him. And then in the last couple stanzas, God is brought up when him and Sarah have different ideas of what God really is. The tone of this poem at the beginning is very excited. The speaker seems like he is drunk on love and life. We can see this from all the exclamation marks in each stanza. And then there's a shift in the last stanza with the word but, which is kind of brought on by Sarah's differing view about God, and she shoots him this look. The speaker still seems excited, but he must have a more directed, disciplined focus. An overview of this poem is the first stanza is kind of straightforward and very much about love and Sarah. He talks about nature around him and the flowers, which represent love and innocence. He's pretty much sitting with this woman on a field of grass, and it's beautiful outside, and he's just very excited about what is going on around him. In the second stanza, the lute or the harp is kind of brought up. The harp disturbs the peaceful silence around this couple. With this music, his imagination intensifies, and he starts talking about fantasy-like sounds, like when he says, "As twilight elfins make when they leave at eve voyage on gentle gales from fairyland." So the instrument kind of brings his imagination to life. In the third stanza, the speaker is addressing Sarah, and he thinks of a nap in the afternoon, which was another fond memory he has. He compares the sea to diamonds, and in the stanza, the speaker's kind of watching and perceiving everything around him. In the fourth stanza, it starts to show the difference of opinions between the speaker and Sarah, and the speaker starts to take caution when talking about God. In the last paragraph, there is a shift when the speaker starts talking a little bit more about God and the difference in their opinions and how he must refrain from all of his excitement to walk with God humbly and to abide by God's discipline. The purpose of this poem is to show that there is a conflict between how excited one's inner child may want to be about something, such as life, as the speaker is in this poem, and how you have to act because of what is expected out of you. So God's discipline is kind of how the speaker must act because that is expected out of him, even though he is so excited about life.